All right, welcome back to another episode of Simply Terrifying. This is episode 31. We are in the start of our 7th week. Everybody, round of applause. Creeps, we've been doing fucking fantastic, but let's move on. Episode 31 is called Family Warts. Why call it that? That's fucking gross, right? Like, you think wart and you don't think, oh, that's nice, or oh, that's cute, or that's sweet, or I really want one of those. You think, you know? Get it the fuck out of here. Like, just, I don't want it. I don't want it. So, what do you do with it? Well, you can ignore it, right? You can deal with it. Or you can freeze it, or you can just hack it off. Like, just cut it, be done. And it's gone. Now, sometimes they come back, as warts do, and from then you decide, all right, well, I did this the first time, it didn't work out so well, so I'm either going to, and then you repeat the process. You either deal with it, you freeze it, you cut it, ignore it, whatever. So you only have so many choices with warts, all right? Same goes for family. Now, because family is often viewed as such a sacred situation, right? There's nothing like family. Blood is thicker than water, blah, da, 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 blah, blah, right? You get all this stuff about how great family is. Well, sometimes, believe it or not, family is just not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, whether it's, some weird branch of the tree that you never really clicked with, or someone who's always, giving negative this, that, whatever. Sometimes there are family members who might as well be a fucking wart. Let's be honest about it. I have some family members, not warts, let's be clear on that. But it's because it's such a sacred situation, right? Because it's the importance of family is drilled into you. It's instilled into you that there's nothing better. There's nothing more important, blah, 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 blah. Because of that stance, many times people endure a lot of things over the years and they excuse it under the blanket of family. Okay? You're talking like it's easier to accept it and to just that's the way it is, blah, 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 instead of prioritizing your own peace. However, some people who discover that family, some of them are like warts, they have options. Just so you know, you do have options, okay? You don't have to go along to get along just because you share blood. I'm going to say that, okay? Deciding to cut off family is rarely easy, but even experts agree it's justifiable when a relationship is consistently damaging to your safety, mental health, or overall well-being. What does that mean? I'm not saying that, Grandma Betty never got me the birthday present I wanted when I was 10, 11, 12. And so I'm just, I'm real mad about it. And we're just not good anymore. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, there are some situations that are just warranted in you not wanting that person to share in your life so much anymore. So it sounds harsh. It really does. But let's put it in a different perspective. If your kid comes home from school and says that Marvin, is being annoying and everything else, and he punched me in the face and he stole my lunch, or so, what are you going to tell what are you going to tell your kid to do about Marvin? Oh, honey, well, he's probably just having a bad day. It's fine. He needs somebody to love him, so you might as well be his best friend. Blah, 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 but everybody gets stepped on. But no. If you don't go in there and freaking manhandle Marvin yourself, you're going to be like, look, you need to stand up for yourself. This is not okay. This is not what friends should do, blah, blah, blah. There's no excuse, because there is not. Now, why is family any different? If somebody can do something to me, right? If they can lie to me, if they can hurt me, if they can, alter some kind of reality, right? To make it fitting for them, but it's not so great for me, like, why am I just supposed to just let that person keep doing that? You know, why am I supposed to live in their reality that's not reality? You know what I mean? I don't get to do that. I don't get to be like, well, you know, today I want to be the queen of everything, and, you know, you're my slave, I'm your boss, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it fucking goes, right? So, if I'm talking crazy, and I get delusional, and I start doing things to certain people, family members even, I should expect that I'm not going to be top of their list for very long, if ever, and possibly never ever again. Okay? So, we'll go this route. We'll go it's generally considered okay if, you know, if any of these situations play out. Because I know a lot of people who have a lot of family members that they're blood. Okay? Congratulations. We share DNA. Great. But we have nothing in common. You've never been there for me. You hurt me. You are not someone I want my kids to look up to. So it's like, it's better that you're just, you know, just out. Because why go through all of that to explain to my kids, to whoever, you know, why I have such an issue with you? Why am I going to give you the opportunity to do the same thing? Oh, but they'd never do that to your kids. Well, I was a kid once, you know, and it happened. And so it's like, now I'm not talking about like abuse or anything like that. Let me just get that clear, because what I just said can definitely be misconstrued. But I do know some people who have situations like that where they still are in communication with these people, and it's like, it's okay to just freeze, ghost, cut, gone, done, wart them, gone. So, okay, so generally considered okay. Presence of abuse. So physical or emotional danger. If a family member is physically abusive or unpredictable, distancing yourself is a matter of safety. Makes sense. You know, it's... The next one says subtle abuse and gaslighting. Oh my God. Remember 10 years ago when nobody said the word gaslighting? Yeah, that was the time. Anyway, persistent verbal abuse, name calling, demeaning remarks, or gaslighting, making you question your own reality, are grounds for severing contact. I mean, it makes sense because this person is essentially, it's a form of control, it's a form of manipulation, and it is a form of abuse. You know what I mean? Because life is already hard enough. And when it comes to family, these are the people that are supposed to be your rock. These are the people who are supposed to get you through things, not make you, not drag you through things. Like, they're supposed to help you climb over the shit, not just fucking drag you in it or, you know, step on you while you're in it. Like, okay, moving on. Repeated boundary violations. We might be getting closer to home. Disregard for limits. When you have clearly stated your boundaries, example, don't comment on my body, don't bring up my past, and they are repeatedly ignored or ridiculed. Anyone have anyone like that in their life? Ding, 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 ding. Absolutely. And you know, why am I going to do that to myself again and again? Like, honestly, why am I, like, there are already things that people have to carry around. There are already insecurities, inconsistencies in the brain that make our day-to-day kind of shoddy sometimes. So why would we want someone with a megaphone just amplifying all the things that we already know, right? And that we don't like, all the negativity. Imagine giving some loudmouth just this huge fucking microphone with an unlimited PA system, and they're like, well, remember that time when you blah, 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 blah. I mean, you tell these people something, they don't take it seriously. So at what point are you good to just be like, this is not what I want in my life anymore? That's it. And be done. Lack of change is the next one. If you have shared how their behavior hurts you and they refuse to acknowledge it, apologize, or make any effort to change, it's probably time to go ahead and get out the scissors and start hacking. Because people like that lack a certain depth of empathy or understanding. And if one of their goals is to not change, then they kind of view you as somewhat less than they are. Okay? And as long as you're less than, it makes them feel a little bit better, you know? So if you've done anything that this person could ever hold on to and use against you, they're going to do that. Okay? Especially if they've been doing it and they have no intention of changing. I mean, it doesn't affect them, but them knowing that they affect you is like a high almost. It's disgusting, but to some people that's what it is. So the impact on mental health is next. So constant negative impact. You feel less than. My goodness, I jumped the gun. I apologize. Anxious, depressed, or physically drained every time you interact with them. That's because it's like going into a tiny room and you just don't know in what way they're going to start sucking your soul, but they are, you know? You're almost like on guard, on edge. You don't know what they're going to bring up. You don't know. I mean, you treat them like a bomb, essentially. You don't want to, make them get to that point where they are going to be set off. So, you're not being your true self, for one. You're being a guarded version of yourself. You're protecting yourself. You got extra armor on because you already know that this person is toxic and that they're unpredictable and that they've already made you feel certain ways all this time. So, every time you put yourself in that position, you're giving that person that kind of power to just keep it going. And that's exhausting to even think about. Seriously. So dread and stress. You experience intense dread before visits or stay in a fog of resentment for days afterward. I mean, if it's somebody, that's like a shitty situation, let's say. Let's say you're a kid and you have to go visit your abusive dad in a, jail meeting room, I don't know, for visitation. It's like, you don't look forward to that. It's very awkward. It's uncomfortable. You could be anywhere else. And who's it benefiting? Honestly, are you there serving them, knowing that they're there to just kind of make you feel this kind of way? Why are you doing that for them? Why does your, mental draining blahness benefit their well-being, their day-to-day? What's the payoff? What's the fucking point? If there's nothing that's a mutual situation, they're not giving you anything positive, right? They're not giving you anything positive, not bringing anything good to the table. Why do you let them? Why do you let them fucking eat you alive? Essentially. If toxicity outweighs benefits, I'm not even jumping ahead. This is the track that my brain is on, and I just seems to be headed in the right direction, I guess. So let's see. Nothing positive to gain. The relationship provides no emotional support, love, or mutual respect, and you only stay, only out of a sense of obligation or sacred family dogma. Harm to others. The toxicity extends to your spouse, children, or pets, making it necessary to cut ties to protect your immediate household. That would be no question. If somebody that was an extension of my family was giving me issues or problems to where it affected my kids or my husband, it would be no question. I wouldn't excuse that because no, this is my family. These creatures came out of me, and I will be damned if anybody that I share blood with above that, trickles down and makes them feel at all like I've ever felt. No, absolutely not. I am going to not even give you a chance. That's when the pit bull gene comes out and you just, you don't get that chance with them. You had a chance with me and you fuckered it up. Okay, that was on you. Because I am someone who always heard the family, the family, the family, 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 family. God! Okay, I understand. Family is great. Family is wonderful, but it ain't everything. Okay? It's not. Just because that's like saying a pastor or a priest can never be an alcoholic, a thief, or a fucking pervert, okay? Yet it happens. It happens. Someone where you go and you essentially worship because they're so, connected. Oh, yeah, they're fucking human though, They're human. They have faults and things and a life outside of that little podium there. Well, family is the same. Okay, just because there's somebody that you're supposed to love and someone you were told, go give them a hug and a kiss and, aren't you excited to stay? Doesn't mean that they can't be a shitty human. Some of them are. Some of them really are. Now, oh God, we'll go on. Expert recommendations before cutting ties, just in case, you're not biting off more than you can chew or you're jumping too far too fast. Evaluate toxic versus annoying. Ask if the behavior is persistently harmful or just frustrating. Everyone has those annoying, relatives too, where it's like, okay, well, I see you once a year. I already know you're going to be a loudmouth. You're going to eat too much. You're definitely going to drink too much. And you're just going to say the most obnoxious, stupid shit. I mean, that's Uncle Joe. You know what I mean? What can you do? There you go. He's mumbling to himself in the corner again. What else is new? Everyone has one of those, or 2 or 5 of those. But that's not really like coming at me. You know what I mean? On the other side, you've got some people where it's like they always have something to say. They always have a comment on your weight, on how you parent, on what you're wearing, on where you live now, on fucking everything, right? And here's the kicker. The people who have the most to say generally have the least fucking insight into your life. So if they're not really connected in the day-to-day, and they still have a lot of shit to say, like, where's the benefit? What do I get from that? Like, honestly, if you're only here to give me shit and I don't need any, fuck off. Gone. Like a wart, cut you off, gone forever. Bye. That's it. Like, that's it. So try low contact first is the next suggestion. You might start by limiting calls or holiday visits to see if distance provides enough relief. Well, I can tell you that distance does help, right? Because you're not on top of people. And that's good because they can't just show up when they fucking feel like it, which is fantastic. However, they still, especially with like social media, they still try to get in there to try to open the curtain, try to get a glimpse or try to be involved. And the thing about it is, like every fucking influencer you've ever seen, they can be polished. They can appear changed or nice or sweet or even, filled with good intentions. But sometimes the damage is done. Sometimes you just have to accept that I'm not going to accept it. I mean, it is what it is. I know a lot of people that don't like that phrase, but if you've ever had somebody in your family that really takes something like that trust, that love, that bond, and they break it, they abuse it, essentially. I don't have to come back from that. I'm not a small child anymore. I don't need to go to you for anything, honestly. And I damn sure don't need you around my kids to where they could ever be put in a situation that makes them feel like that. Okay? And again, I'm not talking about like abuse or anything. That wasn't my story. Okay? My story was people in my life that I idolized, honestly. And that's because as a kid, I didn't know things. And I didn't learn things until, after I was an adult. But by then it's almost like there's a resentment there because now my memories, that I had. All of the blips in there that I kind of felt weird about at the time, that's because you're a shitty person. You know? You altered memories for me. You took something that I thought was great and it wasn't. It was a story. It was a lie. It was, and I'm not saying that I'm a cold-hearted fucking bastard. I can be. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I like to give people the opportunity to tell me the truth, because that says a lot about a person. Okay, I do this with my kids. Like, my kids go through the stages like every kid does, where they kind of test the limits of, stories or lies or whatever. And if you say that your kid never has, congratulations. It'll happen one day about something, whether it's big, small, whatever. Mine has been small stuff, there's whatever. But here's the thing I like drill into my kids so that they finally fucking understand. If I ask you a question, you can be damn sure that I already know the answer, and I'm seeing if you tell me the truth. Because if I know the answer and I ask the question and you lie to me, that's going to be a situation. Not the thing we're even talking about, just the fact that you chose the lie over the truth when you know, or you should know, that I already know before I ask. So, like other family members, there was situations and I laid out the same premises as my kids. Now, this all happened when I was younger and, whatever, these people that I was really close to and trusted and all this stuff. And I laid it all out bare. As I got older, I'm already a mom. I'm already in a different phase of life. I'm at a different age. I don't need these people like I did when I was younger. So I give them the opportunity, the benefit of the doubt. But I already know the answers to my questions. So I ask a question and I get a lie. It's not looking good. But we do have this solid fucking history. So I'm going to give you another chance. So I rephrase and I deliver again. I get another lie. The first lie, let's face it. You're going with a story that you told for decades. So why should I be the one to pull you out of that, right? To pull you out of character. But when I ask you again and you choose another lie, that tells me that you're not interested in telling me the truth, even if I know it. Whether you think I really do or not, or you just think that you're, smarter and everything, whatever. I asked again 3 times now. And I got another fucking lie. The third lie tells me that there is no respect here. There's only respect if I go along with the story, if I go along with the lie. I don't want to. I don't need to. If it's shame or whatever you're worried about, that's on you. But you made choices and you told stories and you told lies. And so to me, I'm in a point where open communication and trust, those are big things when I think of family. And just because we share blood does not mean I have to share anything else with you. It doesn't. It doesn't give you a golden ticket into my life. You don't get to live vicariously through my postings or photos or whatever, because you chose to lie, which means you put me in that category, not trusted. There are boundaries and limits and stuff like that. So I then took your example and flipped it. So if I don't deserve the truth, then you don't deserve me. So cut, gone. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't. It's been years and years and years since I've looked at these people as real family. because I do have real family. Some of my family, we don't even share blood. But without a question, if I had any kind of problem, they're there. You know, if I needed an alibi, yeah. One call, one visit. That's all I'd need. I mean, you're talking some crazy shit. And I have these people. That's my family. You know, that's what family should be. So if you've ever had an issue, any kind of the ones that we're talking about, and you think that, you know, this person, one, doesn't bring me anything positive. Definitely toxicity outweighs the benefits. You've tried to give them an opportunity to change or fix themselves or just fucking stop what they're doing, and they're not taking it. So don't feel bad if you have to wart them. You know what I mean? Because family, like warts, some of them don't have a place. So that's all I'm saying. Relatable, hopefully. I know this on some level to somebody, somewhere. And that's all that I need from this. So we will wrap it up. This has been episode 31. That was probably loud. Sorry. Episode 31, wrapping up. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.